Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Sheila.
Hey.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
He's not really there.
Somebody's here.
There I am. Hi, there you are.
Gee, John, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
What was it, 15 minutes ago?
Was it about 20
24 hours ago.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put my video on for a few minutes to say hello, let you know
Okay.
who I am, and then I'm going to shut it off.
That would be great. We would love to see you. Thank you.
I'll do the same thing as Maureen.
Hey,
Hi,
Marilyn.
Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi there.
I'll put my video on. Start video. Oh, a little on the dark side. There we go.
Look, there she is
I didn't realize I didn't have my video on.
in all her glory.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we get a good amount of people tonight.
I hope so too. I got my eye on the participant section. And we are recording already, so that's a good sign. John, you're going to be my question fielder, right?
Yes, I have a group chat up already on my screen.
Perfect. Oh, you're fabulous. Great.
I don't know how to put my last name up there, but it's Weslowski. If anybody wants to know who Maureen is, I don't know why it just shows my first name, but
So Maureen, if you're on your computer and you right click over your face, you can go down, I think, to rename and you can name yourself anything you want.
oh, what fun. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
just be
try that.
appropriate, okay?
I'm not going to do anything now because I'm afraid I may mess it up. I'll do it at another time when I'm zooming.
Okay.
That's not an important issue.
There's that Ann Hicks.
Yep, I see Ann on there. I see Danny came on too. That's awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hey, Danny.
Danny.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hi.
Everybody ready for the big snowstorm tomorrow and tonight?
I'm hoping it's the same snowstorm we got last time and nothing comes of it.
I'm hoping too.
Rain.
I don't think we're gonna weasel out of this one though.
I thought people were joking. Like, how much snow are we supposed to get?
Up to 4 inches apparently, but it will
Some
melt right
places-
away.
Yeah, some places said 4 to 7, so,
Yeah.
but I'm
Right.
kind of hoping we don't get any.
Me
I hope
too.
it melts fast because my plow is in the shop.
Well, I think by Tuesday, they said it was gonna be 70 outside, so I think hopefully by Tuesday it'll be gone.
I love New England. It's never
Do
boring.
you? Do you
Yes,
really?
I really do. I'm sitting here, it's I'm sitting here by my wood stove. It's April.
Anybody coming in, Sheila?
I got 2.
Oh, good.
Yep, and I'm waiting on Jim.
Yep.
He's texting me right now. So welcome everybody who's here already. We're really excited that you're here, and we're gonna wait a couple minutes to see if we get a couple more people on, maybe till about 6:35. So if you can be real patient, if you're there, maybe go grab yourself a cup of coffee or something. That'd be great. That would be good. We plan to only go till about 8 o'clock, so we're gonna try to get this in, and if anybody wants to linger after 90 minutes or so, you're welcome to linger, but we're hoping to do a 90-minute stint here and get this all done for you.
Will the selectmen be joining us?
I hope some of them come on. I haven't seen any of them yet.
Mhm.
Oh, there's Jim. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So anybody that's on too, if you've got a friend that you know, you're welcome to send them a quick text and let them know they've got some exciting stuff happening here on Thursday night that they can do from the comfort of their home. And let us know how they feel about the downtown area of North Brookfield. We need your input. So if you've got any friends that you realize aren't on here yet, we've only got about 14, 15 people so far. We would love to have this up to about twice as many as we've got so far, minimum. So text your friends for us.
I have my husband sitting on the side, so you can count him as another person.
All right, we'll count him. Speaking of that, Sue, where's Sharon? I thought she was getting on the other computer.
I think she's,
See?
did you hear that?
She can hear me anyway.
Yes, you can.
That's hysterical. So we'll give it a couple more minutes, guys. We're up to 15 people, which is good. We'd like a couple more if we can get some more. Again, if you guys got some friends or you want to post it on Facebook, I'll do my best to keep admitting people while I'm working through this. We definitely would like to see a lot of North Brookfield residents get some really good input tonight. So text your friends, email them, give them a quick call, hit your mute button on the Zoom and give them a call. Get them in here. That would be wonderful. Danny asked if I posted a reminder on Citizens for a Better MB, and I definitely did. If you want to jump in there and just throw a reminder up for people or put something up on that one, that would be just fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Danny. The link to this is also on the main page of the North Brookfield website. So if you need to find the link, I'm sure most of you have already gotten the link, so you have it because you're on here. The place that you can get that link is on the North Brookfield page for sure. Should be right on the top of the page.
So I see that some people's name is iPhone or iPad or just a first name. So if you would like to be counted as a participant and you want to give us your name, I will make a note of that. If not, that's fine too.
Thanks, Ann.
Sure.
So what do you do? What would you like us to do?
Just if you want me to know your last name,
They can put it in the chat. That might help.
you
Yeah.
can
Just
put
say,
it in
hey,
the chat. Or
yes.
if you, because the only thing that I can see to write down who is here is, if you go to the bottom panel, it says participants. If you click on participants, then you can see your name and everybody else's name, except some people don't have their name. So I'm just saying that if anyone would like to tell me their name that's not complete in the participant list, then yeah, you can put it in the
Sorry.
chat. That'd be great.
All right, I'm just gonna get, oh, there we go, 6:37. So I'm gonna start this off, guys. We're at 16 people and I'm gonna do my best to try to keep adding people on, and as I see them, if you happen to notice that somebody's trying to get in, if you guys can see that and I'm the only one who can link them in, please just stop me and we'll just let those people in, because I want to make sure we get as many people in that want to participate as possible. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to start us off. Tonight is the second Master Plan Committee Forum. Tonight's forum is on downtown North Brookfield. We are required to have public forums in order to hit some requirements to complete our master plan, which expired back in 2017. Our first master plan was created and acknowledged back in 2007. So we're super excited to get this new master plan up and running so that we're up to date. Tonight, your hosts are going to be me, Sheila Orsi. I'm the chair of the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee. I also happen to be a member of the Master Plan Forum. We also have Jim Buzzell here. Jim, if you can just pop in and say something, maybe people will see your face on their screen.
Hello, this is Jim. I'm here.
There's
Ready
Jim.
to help out.
Great. Jim is the chair / president of the Friends of the Townhouse. We're both going to be your hosts tonight. I also want to introduce you to John Turner. John, if you can give a little shout out for me, that'd be great.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming.
John is the chair of our Master Plan Forum, and he's going to be working through the chats tonight. So if you've got something to say and you want to make sure you don't forget it right away, we're going to be using the chat forum. So we're really excited that you're here. We really need your input with regards to the future of the downtown of North Brookfield. Jim and I know, have been working really hard with a lot of stuff, as well as all of our committee members have been working extremely hard to get things back up to where we want to go. And we need your input as to what we think the future of North Brookfield should be. So the first thing that I want to do is just go through some of the Zoom etiquette and some controls for you, because if you're not familiar with Zoom, I want to make sure that you understand how to work this format. So we ask that you all have your microphone on mute if you're not speaking. So if you look down, if you're on your computer, I'm not too sure how this works on your phone. So I hope that you know how to work it on your phone. But if you're on your computer or possibly your iPad, number 1 on the panel right here, if you can see my cursor, is a little microphone. You can click on that and hover over the little arrow button that pops up, and you can choose whether you're going to be muted or unmuted. Next to that is a stop or start of your video. So if you want to shut your video off because maybe, I don't know, you got to run away and chat with your kids or go grab some supper or something like that, but you want to keep listening, we just would appreciate if you would hit the stop video button. Again, the controls work the same way. You hit the little arrow up button and you can start and stop your video anytime. We would love to see you, so you're welcome to keep it on. Another really important control at the bottom is where the number 2 is, and it's where the faces are. That's called participant panel. If you click on that, you can see that you have a couple different options on there. If during the course of us chit-chatting, this is professional but casual forum, we want to make sure that you raise your hand to let us know that you want to say something. John is going to make sure that he interrupts me and Jim on occasion to make sure we get to your information. But if it's not something that we are in the middle of a chat or a communication part about, please go to number 3, which is the little chat. It looks like a little box where, you know, cartoons would talk. And you can click on that and chat yourself away. You can type any questions you have. We would love any input that you have. If you just have a statement about something in particular, please just click that and let us know. We are recording this meeting so that we can go back and look at some of the input that you gave us, as well as recording whatever's in that chat box. So if you put something in there, we're going to record it. We're going to be able to read them later. So it's very important to us. Last button that's on there is the leave meeting button. If you do have to leave the meeting because something has come up or you're just sick of listening to us, you're more than welcome to just dump out of our meeting. We would love to just keep you here until the end. Again, we only want to run in for about 90 minutes, so we hope to be done by about 8 o'clock or so. And if we do have any lingering chit chat or whatever, people can stay after 8, but we really know that, you know, your time is valuable too. So we want to make sure that you're out of here in a reasonable time. With that being said, again, only 90 minutes. We do have an agenda tonight, and it's very important that we get your participation during this forum. So the reason why you're here, we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about the 2020 Master Plan Survey results, which I know you've all been eagerly awaiting more results from our Master Plan Survey. So we've got quite a few more of those to go over with you, and we need some input back from you on those as well. Excuse me. I'm the chair right now of the Downtown Development Committee, and we want to go over some of the strategic goals that we have right now, which are kind of check marking a lot of our master plan from 2007. So again, that's why we need your information so that we can set up some new goals and make sure we hit them over the next 10 years. Jim is here from the Friends of the Townhouse. He's going to go over his strategic goals that they have. And I'm sure many of you might not realize how forward the plans are at the townhouse. Sometimes it doesn't look like there's a lot of things going on, but there's a lot of paperwork and background things that have to be done, grants to get done. So we're going to go over that. Number 4 is going to be a lot of input. This is the end is a lot from you. We're definitely going to be stopping in between to get information, but community goals and objectives is where we need you guys. And then if you have anything that you think of for final statements, we're going to have that at the end as well. All right, everybody ready to dive in? Does anybody have any questions before we get in here? All right, I think we're good. Why are you here tonight? You're here because you are probably a resident of North Brookfield, and we need your input from the public to be able to complete our 2021 master plan in order to take this to the next level. Why are we updating the master plan? Because the master plan is an imperative piece for every town to help with grant funding. Specifically for the North Brookfield downtown area, what it helps with is streets, sidewalks, infrastructure grants, which includes like sewer and water. It's going to help us with building grants, facades, signage, lights. A lot of different things happen when we get our master plan updated, and it helps us to have some beef with our grants when we put them in. So we really need your input. So we're excited about that. Let's dive into some survey results. Are you guys ready? What type of new businesses would you like to see most in town was one of our questions on our survey. And, oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that people aren't just popping in here, so I apologize for that. So if you look at the scale, you can see orange is number 5, which is the highest rating. And if you look on there, the 5th one over is gas station. So I'm going to get right into the next piece here, which is what type of businesses did you want to see in town? So we analyzed this and found that 57% of you put gas station as your highest score. And I am very proud and happy to let you know that the gas station that you've all been wanting is definitely coming. So we do have a new gas station going in right in the center of town, just about across the street from our downtown townhouse. And we're excited to have that. So check mark that off the box. We're happy to make sure that that's happening here in town. Next up was 41% of the results were really intent about saying that they wanted a restaurant or a cafe. We are really looking forward to putting a restaurant or a cafe in the downtown area. We do know of one woman who is working diligently with one of the landlords down there to put in her bakery, which was also, if you look at the next one, on our list. As small scale retail, we're looking for bakery, hardware store. They all claimed about a 25% interest. And that was pretty high on that survey. The other thing that we found is that one of that same landlord who's looking at the bakery, person to fill the bakery is also looking to put a restaurant or a cafe in there. So let me put this out to all of you that if anybody knows of someone who's interested in getting their business in the downtown area, we are super excited to talk to them. Next up on the list was, should the town work to bring in a new developer to develop or redevelop one of the following? A pretty simple graph for you all to see. The main thing that we were looking at was Main Street downtown, to get a developer to come in and help with that, and the townhouse. Those were the two biggest respondents on the survey. So 52% of you said the Main Street downtown needs some help, and maybe we need a developer or someone to help with that. Followed by the townhouse with 33% of you were it was a very high score. So I know Jim and I are working with our committees really hard to work through that. And we're excited to tell you about that in a couple minutes too. One other survey that came up that we thought was important to the downtown area was, would you be in favor of updating and expanding the municipal sewer and water system for one of the following? So if you look at this, 39% of the respondents had rated residential as the highest place where they would be in favor of updating and expanding the municipal water and sewer systems. But 36% of you had voted in not at all. So I want to take 5 minutes, if you're comfortable with this, or maybe not even a full 5 minutes, and just get a little bit of response from you all. If you happen to have chosen not at all, or even if you didn't, what do you think were the reasons why people would have picked not at all for being in favor of updating and expanding the municipal sewer? Whether you want to just chime in, raise your hand and let us know that you want to chime in at this point, or just put some of your comments in the chat box for us. This was a really important piece that we thought we really kind of wanted to hear about. So if I go back one slide real quick, residential was the highest. Commercial development was also high, but not at all was higher than commercial development or industrial development. So not at all was really pretty important. I do some people putting some stuff on the chat, so maybe we'll just let them chat. But if you feel like you want to respond verbally, we'd love to hear from you. And that's okay if you don't want to too. We can keep going. But we would like to hear from you if you have any information on that, or you think that you want to give us some responses, please put some information in that chat box for us. So I'm going to move on to the next slide and jump into what do you dislike about living in North Brookfield? So one of the reasons why I picked this as one of the survey results to talk about tonight in the downtown area was because one of the highest ones on here, other than tax rate, was lack of retail stores. And we definitely know that retail stores is something that we want to be able to fill up some of our empty spots down in the North Brookfield downtown district overlay area. So that was kind of important to us to talk about tonight. All the rest, other than the downtown, got a little bit here too, but it looks like downtown, high tax rate, and lack of retail stores were some of our highest scores on why people dislike living in North Brookfield. So we want to fix that. That's definitely important because we want to make sure you love everything about living in North Brookfield. But we want to know what we can do to fix some of those things. So 24% voted lack of retail stores as the highest, with 31% also in this area voted other, which was one of the highest. So what I did was a lot of people who put in the other also had put comments in our survey. So I kind of scanned through and took like a quick note of things that were consistent, that people consistently talked about in the other section that bothered them about living in North Brookfield. And some of those issues were sidewalk repair, poor road conditions, lack of cultural opportunities, and poorly maintained properties on Main Street. So all of those issues are definitely in the downtown district overlay and in the downtown area of North Brookfield. And that's a concern for us to make sure that it's not just a concern, but that it's an issue that we want to work on to make better, to make your life a little bit nicer here in North Brookfield. If you happen to think of any other, like, I don't want to know everything you dislike about North Brookfield because that could get sad. And I love living in North Brookfield. So there's a lot of wonderful things here too. But if there's a couple other things that you can think of that you want to pop in that chat box, please do that because again, your input's really important to us. So we want to make sure that we get as much information as we can. Does anybody have any comments on this part before we move on to another part of the forum here? Are we good? All right. Just checking on additional comments. It sounds like we're quiet out there in our Zoom land. But again, this whole forum is about you guys. So make sure you give me some information because we want to know. So what I'm going to get into next is the downtown area, and I'm going to talk a little bit about downtown. I'll jump into the strategic area of the downtown committee that we're on here, as well as Jim's going to jump in and tell you guys a little bit about the townhouse and where we're at there too. So just to reiterate, what is the downtown area? The downtown area really encompasses this whole spot. The downtown district overlay actually encompasses from Mount Pleasant Street right up in here, all the way actually further down, down by Ward Street practically. So it actually goes further than this map. But it's only maybe a block out or so is the downtown district overlay, and that might even be stretching it a little bit. But we've got a lot of retail spaces. This whole area right here with the library and the townhouse and the Munns building and the churches that are all in here are very important to the downtown area. And we really need your input to see, you know, what you think is going to be important as we move forward. So let me get right into, now that you have an idea of where the downtown area really is, which is downtown. Let me get into the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee. So I'm the chair of that right now, and we were developed back in 2019. The reason why we were developed was actually I had gone to Jim Buzzell, who is the president of the Friends of the Townhouse, because I really wanted to join the Friends of the Townhouse, and I wanted to help get our townhouse open. That's really a goal of mine, as well as many other people in town. And I wanted to join that committee. And Jim said, Sheila, we really need a new committee that's going to open up because the state wants to see that we're committed to our downtown area. And they want to see us fixing our sidewalks and fixing our streets and fixing our municipal systems and stuff down there. So we need someone to help with that. And I was one of 5 people that Jim went to, if not more, Jim, I'm not sure, that said, I want to do that. I want to help with that. So we developed the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee back in 2019. And over these 2.5 years, you might not see much of us, but there's been a lot of stuff going on in the background. One of the things that we did in the first year was create a strategic goals. We worked very diligently and hard with the CMRPC, and we came up with 5 goals that were our main purposes that we're trying to work through. So those 5 goals are a walkable downtown, We want to create a connected trail system in our town that extends off of the downtown area. We want to definitely help with the townhouse revitalization. That's one of our main goals. We want to help with the downtown development in general, which means like marketing, street lighting, maybe sound and music, all that kind of everything. And then our final goal here is business investment or business development. So come to find out, a lot of what we're working through in the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee are already goals that were in our 2007 master plan. So, and we're working through these to hopefully check mark them all within the next 2 or 3 years to get them done. And we're really close to having a lot of this done. So the first one I want to show you, which is super exciting, is that Jim actually commissioned us because Complete Streets is a giant or a pretty big grant process that can come into town that can help us upgrade all the sidewalks and walkways in North Brookfield. And I am super excited to let you know that the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board, or I shouldn't, we've talked to the Planning Board, the Finance Committee have all been on board and helped us so far with getting the preliminary engineering done for the downtown area to redo all of our streets. Basically, I should say our sidewalks, our crosswalk areas to make them safer and more ADA compliant, and redevelop some of this parking so that it is more beneficial to the people of North Brookfield as well. So I want to reiterate, we're definitely not taking a bunch of parking spots away. We're leaving all of our parking spots. We're actually working diligently to make more parking in North Brookfield because we know that that's one of our big issues. So don't want to get into that. But I do want to tell you that we are on the verge of shovel ready to start working in North Brookfield to fix our sidewalks and our crosswalks. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. So that's one of our check marks for the North Brookfield, making it more walkable and pedestrian friendly in our downtown area and fixing all those sidewalks that are falling apart. One of the other major goals that we have in North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee is the business awareness and development. So one of the things that we did is we got a Facebook page going for the NBDDC. And what that helps us do is give grant awareness to the residents of North Brookfield, to the businesses of North Brookfield. We also started a new piece called the Business Bites. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that. I do my best to get as many of them in as I possibly can. And what that is that we're interviewing businesses in North Brookfield to make people aware of the different people and businesses that are here in town. And we're really trying to just support everybody in our town, business-wise. So our ultimate goal with this is to create the North Brookfield Business Committee. Why another committee? I totally get that. The point of another committee is specifically the business committee is because those people who are running their businesses in the downtown area, we want to know in the Downtown Development Committee, how can we help those businesses to bring in better marketing, more people into town to actually purchase stuff, or people that are already in town or around in the Brookfield area to be able to come into town to either, walk our trails, enjoy our downtown area, and come and stop and participate in the businesses of North Brookfield. So one thing that I want to mention at this point is that one of the survey results we got was that people were concerned that we have a high tax rate. Let me tell you this, I've been learning a lot through this process. The more businesses we have in town, the less you pay in taxes. So if we can get more businesses and more people to come into town, purchase from these businesses and create a really great, hearty, meaty business area, which should hopefully bring your taxes down or at least stop them from going up so much. So that's really important to North Brookfield to make sure that we have some great business facilities in our town. Trail system connection. So I love being out in the Windermere Meadow. I love being out on that rail trail that a lot of the people in town have been coming together to create and make better. So one of the things that we found in the Downtown Development Committee was that we wanted to connect those trails so that people can start in the center of town. And that rail trail starts right up by the train house, and to be able to see all the different offshoots of trails that come off of the downtown area. So if people want to come to town, park maybe over next to the police station and take a walk down the rail trail and come back and have lunch, or, you know, take a stroll up by the back of St. Joseph's Cemetery. I don't even know if you guys know there's a trail back there. It's beautiful. And enjoy that trail. Take a walk down to the Windermere Meadow and then come back again and have lunch. We're really excited to connect all those trails. We're actually working on creating a map of all of that so we can start that right at the park up at the center of town. So we've got a lot of really great things that are happening here in North Brookfield. So what does that lead to? That leads to ultimately our biggest goal to start this whole process of the Downtown Development Committee was to create the townhouse revitalization. So we support the Friends of the Townhouse like 100%. We're super excited about what they're doing. We really want to see that townhouse reopen. We know that when the townhouse reopens, the point of that is to bring businesses to town, to bring people into town, to create a revitalized downtown area that really makes people excited to be in the downtown area of North Brookfield. So we're super excited to see it not just open, but to be this vibrant, living, new, beautiful building that it's just got some great stuff going on. So with that being said, up next here is Jim Buzzo, and he is going to be talking to you about the townhouse area. So I want to stop for 1 second just before we get to Jim and see if anybody's got anything in the chat. Anybody wants to make any comments? We can give that another like 5-7 minutes if anybody wants to jump in here and talk to us a little bit about some of our strategic plans or whatever you think.
Sheila, there is something in the chat from
Great.
Maureen. She is asking, under complete streets, what is being done to upgrade water and sewer in this area? Seems like this is the time to upgrade sewer and water during street construction.
Maureen, you are such a smart woman. I'll give you that. So actually, we have Eva Brown is helping out with us, as well as a lot of other committee members in the downtown district overlay. I get them mixed up all the time. In the NBDDC, that we are working really hard on a new grant. This grant we just found out about in January, and it's a brand new umbrella grant. And I mix this name up all the time. Give me 1 second. It is called, oh my goodness gracious. I always want to call it. What?
Eva's part of our group tonight.
Yeah, Eva, are you there?
Yes, we didn't have our microphone on and Dave's sitting over there.
She can help you.
He just did it. This is the community one-stop for growth. That's what it's called.
So Eva and I have been Eva's working harder than me, but we've been getting together on Sunday afternoons and gathering information for that and for a TAP program that we have coming into town. So let me just get back to Maureen. Maureen's question is, are we working on water and sewer? Absolutely. So with One Stop, it's a giant umbrella program that allows us to apply for like 5 different types of grants that can help us with that exactly, is water and sewer. We are hoping, Maureen, that the timing works out. It's a big grant and it's a lot of work. You're welcome to help us with it. Anybody who wants to help us with these grants and these programs, we would love to have you on board because it's a lot of time and it's a lot of work. And one of the things that this grant is going to do is hopefully help us to offset a lot of the funding that North Brookfield would have to pay out of pocket themselves to get grants to come in to help with the water and sewer. I think Brandon Avery might be on here too. I just hung out with him maybe about a month ago, and we took pictures of all of the old maps from the historical museum of the water and sewer pipes that are from the late 1800s that have never been upgraded. And I forwarded them to not only the engineers that we're working with on Complete Streets because they needed them, but also to the water and sewer department because they're going to need them as well. I think I see Danny's hand up. Danny, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just have a question. In terms of all these different committees, where's the best place to have a voice in terms of, and it might just be the planning committee and the planning board and attending those meetings, but it also feeds into the downtown development committee. Where's the best place for citizens to have a voice in terms of what kind of like signage is going to be allowed down in the downtown area? Because like the last thing you want is, you know, the beautiful historic townhouse, these polished sidewalks and that kind of stuff. And you have like sale going on now with 1,000 arrows and blinking lights and starting to look like some sort of district in Denmark.
So that's a great question, Danny. I'm glad that you brought that up. Those kind of fielded questions need to go to the planning board.
Okay.
Wait a minute. And the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Well,
The Board of Selectmen is the first place to start, I would think, to discuss it. And then probably, you know, it would be brought up with planning, but always start with them on some of these things. Because, you know, they're kind of like I guess the analogy I'd use is ground control in the town of what should go where and who should address what and when. So I would start with them, and then if the planning board should be involved, which inevitably it might be, then it'll get to us. So just to give you a heads up on that. But as a member of the planning board, please come to our meetings. We need people to come to our meetings, and it's been, unfortunately, the last couple of meetings has been all about the gas station, but it'd be nice to have people come to meetings that when it's not about the gas station. So yeah, but I would start with the select board.
Okay, select board, planning board, that sounds good. And the only thing I want to say is Eva Brown is awesome and she's amazing. And thank you so much for all her work. You too, Sharon.
She is great.
She is.
I'm going to throw out there too, that if you do want to look up, there are bylaws already set up for the downtown district overlay area. And there are already some bylaws that are set up for signage. So there's not a lot, but there is a little bit. So I would start there, maybe look through that and then see if that satisfies whatever you're looking for. And if not, then like Sue said, probably take it to the Board of Selectmen and then have those conversations if you think that there's things that should be added in or taken out or something.
Great. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you so much for all your
Thanks.
work. This presentation is wonderful.
Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Sheila, John Turner here.
Sure.
I wanted to ask about sidewalk and the complete streets.
Yep.
You used the term shovel ready, and I'm curious to understand what that means. Are you ready to start? Are we going to see construction this month, this summer?
I'm hoping, yeah, I think this summer, actually, we're putting in our application for May. It might not be summer, it might be fall. I think we're putting in our application for May and we're hoping to be awarded funds. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't be awarded funds, but we have different projects that we're looking to work on. I actually still have to talk to the Board of Selectmen about all of this, so I don't want to let too much of the cat out of the bag just yet, because we do need to have a formal discussion with the Board of Selectmen on where we are and which projects we want to start with. But yeah, we're applying for Tier 3, which is the application stage of Complete Streets. The cool thing about Complete Streets is that we have currently, if anybody wants to, you can go to the North Brookfield website and go to the Downtown Development Committee page. There is the Complete Streets project list on there. We have about 26 projects listed on there. And we can apply for up to almost $400,000 worth of grants every year. There's no promise that we're going to be awarded the total 400 every single year, but I mean, fingers crossed, it's our first year and they tell us that that's pretty typical, that they give us pretty close to that especially in the first year. So I'm really excited to see projects getting underway and shovels going in the ground. So yes, I'm going to say by fall, we should have some new sidewalks going in with new lighting and foliage and everything. So excited. I'm going to
Great.
put my hard hat on and go hang out with them.
Yeah.
So, has anybody else got anything? And we're going to move on to Jim. Let's see. All right. So up next is going to be Jim Buzzell. Jim, I'm super excited
go.
to introduce you and let you talk about the Friends of the Townhouse.
Thanks, Sheila. Everything you said is spot on. We're as happy as you are to be working together. I feel like with all these committees, our committee, your committee, the planning board, the board of selectmen, that's important that everybody's rowing in the same direction to get this all to work out. And so pleased to be on with everybody and talking about the townhouse now. So you can read our mission statement here on the screen. It hasn't changed since the Friends started back in 2006, and we remain committed to this message. Before I talk about the future of the townhouse, I wanted to go through the past a little bit just to give some context. The building was last occupied in 2002, and as everybody knows, had to be abandoned. There were 2 cracked beams and other issues, many other issues, as the building had sort of been slowly decaying over time. Well, since 2002, the soil outside the building has been remediated. The beams, steel beams were inserted, so the building is now structurally sound. New roof's been put on with the dormers, so it's watertight, and the tower was recreated and installed. So a lot has been done to this building. I think that goes to show how much the town cares about preserving it and having it be used again. And now it's ready for next steps. So we're so happy. Our core membership of the Friends has been working really hard with a lot of behind the scenes type activities to go through the steps that are necessary to get the major renovations done. Go ahead to the next slide. Yeah. So strategic goals, restore the townhouse, provide theater and culture, engage community participation, financial freedom, and long-term sustainability. Yeah. So I want to talk about a little bit about the architectural plans that, thank God that Eva was able to apply for this grant. We got this grant, then she set up the people that carried it through. So it's a feasibility study. The grant was awarded to us 2 years ago, and last year the feasibility study was conducted by Dan Benoit. He's architecture, and he did a marvelous job. The original intent was really to get the great hall or the top floor studied for what it might be as a performance center, but Dan was able to work the whole building in. So this particular diagram is of the top floor. We have plans for an expanded stage, dressing rooms. You can see the seating there, bathrooms, all the things we need to have a working performance center. Go to the next slide. Okay, and so the reasons that we feel strongly that a performance center will be beneficial for the town, it'll give a chance for the townspeople to enjoy productions from local groups as well as professional groups that can be brought in. We realize that we'll have to have a manager in place to do this, but it's a chance for the townspeople to get to enjoy local theater, but also to bring people in from other towns to strengthen the business community that they will inevitably support as they come in for to view these performances. He also did plans on the other 2 floors. Sheila, did you get a chance to put those in to the slideshow or no? No?
I thought that's what this was.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's okay. No, we had a floor plan layouts. It's not a problem. Basically, what we're looking to, we do have some concrete plans, and then we have a lot of space within this building that we would like to get input from townspeople on what they might like to see go in there. So we talked about the performance center on the top floor. We also have tentative plans to put a restaurant, cafe restaurant in the basement area with a singer-songwriter stage. Again, something that we hope will attract people from in town as well as out of town to come and enjoy a meal as well as some entertainment. But there's plenty of other space in the building that's been targeted for office space, maybe retail, et cetera. And that's what, if anyone out there has comments or suggestions about what we could use that space for, we'd love to hear it. Bottom line is we want to get this building back to being a living, breathing part of our community that people are going into and out of on a regular basis, and utilizing and strengthening the downtown economy. Before you move on, go ahead back 1 second. Long-term sustainability. So another item that we believe strongly in is having paying tenants in this building. Money earned from the performance center and the other spaces in the ground and basement floors, so that the town doesn't have to put its tax dollars into sustaining this building, maintenance and whatnot over time. We will have a fund for that. The building will earn its own keep, so to speak. Okay, go ahead, next slide. Okay, Roar, for those of you that haven't heard of this, I urge you to go on our website, nbtownhouse.com. It's really creative programming, sort of the brainchild of Bonnie Milner from Longview Studios in town. And it's been adopted by all of us as something we feel strongly will be helpful to people throughout the community. So it stands for Rural Opportunity Through Art and Restoration. And what we're looking for is to stimulate creativity through townspeople and people from other towns within our region. So there will be classes for anything that's creative. That could be music, that could be art, that could be pottery, photography, et cetera, et cetera. We want that to be occupy part of the building. Again, there's plenty of space for other things to go in there, but we hope that this will, again, be a stimulus for local people as well as people throughout the region to come enjoy these programs and to benefit from them. And that's it. So if anyone has any comments on or questions about what's going on in the townhouse, glad to hear them. If anybody wants to come to our meetings, once we have them again after COVID's over, or participate in our membership, we're happy to hear from you.
Thank you, Jim, so much. That was awesome. I am so excited to get the townhouse open. I'm really looking forward to that a lot. That was great. So some of the things that we want to be able to get from you all is some information from you and what you think. Just brainstorming, not brainwashing, but brainstorming through this process so we can figure out what do you think is going to be something that is going to help us with some goals for our future of North Brookfield. So the master plan committee is asking for information from all of you for that. So goals are some really broad ideas that we want to achieve. So an example of a broad idea that we've had in our master plan is that we want to retain a New England character in the downtown area. Objectives would be things that actually make that goal work. So that would be kind of like what Danny brought up earlier. Do we need to tighten any zoning bylaws in the downtown district overlay with regards to building facades and signage and, maybe what type of music we can play outside so that it doesn't get, too loud or crazy. We don't end up having mosh pits or anything down there. Not that that might not be fun and bring in a crowd too, but we want to make sure that, we want to know from you, what do we want to do? What kind of goals do we want for our future of North Brookfield? Because again, we're check marking between the Friends of the Townhouse and the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee, we're check marking a lot of things off of that 2007 master plan. Might have taken us, 14 years to do it, but we're getting it done one way or another. That's going to happen. So if you've got any kind of ideas, please let us know. Some of the new goals that we want to discuss tonight. So you guys get ready to put your microphones off of mute and start chatting or putting some stuff in the chat, because we need to hear from you tonight. Is some new goals we might want to put in the downtown. Do we want it to be a very walkable downtown, or do we need it to be more car friendly? Do we need the townhouse to have some really great programming ideas? Do you have any ideas about that? What kind of programming are you thinking of? Businesses, do we want to load up with businesses and who cares what kind of business goes in there? Or do we want to limit businesses that are in there? And by that doesn't mean that we want to limit business coming into town, because we definitely want some great businesses coming down into our downtown area, but do we want to be careful with who we allow? For example, when you go to like Sturbridge, they have specific bylaws in their Main Street area that don't allow for any signs to be lit from the inside out, and all the signs need to be wooden. So if you go down that main strip of Route 20 in Sturbridge, you're going to see all the signs are like an old time wooden sign, and no matter if they're CVS, if they're Dunkin' Donuts, whatever they are, they have to be lit from the outside and they look like wooden signs. Do we want to be careful with what type of businesses come in, or any type of business is okay? And marketing. Are there specific segments we want to market to? That is one segment I definitely want to hear from you all on. So before we get into that too much, I do want to hear about if you have any kind of ideas about walkability, car friendliness, programming ideas. Anybody want to jump in there and start chit-chatting?
I noticed Maureen brought up something about fostering a creative economy in the area. I like that idea. Maureen, you want to would you elaborate on that a little bit? I guess not.
I would think that either Marilyn Borst or myself, we're working on the programming for the townhouse, and we go to these meetings each week to try to figure out what would be best for the townhouse, and we certainly need ideas from the outside. But Marilyn, maybe you could explain if Maureen has left us what the creative commerce would be. You're very good at doing that. You're muted.
Okay. Well, creative commerce means anything that, let's see, any kind of activity that that features any kind of creativity to it. So if somebody wanted to open up a flower shop, that's wonderful. They're making flower designs. A baking shop. We're inviting artists to come in and showcase what it is they're doing, whether they're doing pottery or woodworking or whatever. Have spaces that they could rent for a certain period of time. Having farmers be able to come in and bring their produce, which they've created. There are all sorts of ways to create things and processes that go into the creativity. Bonnie Milner is fond of citing Vibram and the fact that they would like to perhaps see a program on shoemaking and how that goes. So we just want to welcome in more creativity so that people will come into the town. It's something that will bring people together as a community for programs, not just necessarily performance programs, but programs that are around a certain activity. It could be yoga, it could be baby yoga, it could be a singing. We're thinking about a senior choir, a swinging senior singles, or a swinging singing seniors, a choir for, yeah, right. Songwriting for teenagers, just anything, any ideas. An upcycle program is something that we were thinking of, where people learn how to refinish or remake something into an object that they would like to have around their house or give to somebody else. So it's just a creativity, any kind of creativity that might be lacking. We know that people love to go to the shows, the festivals and things always showcase people who have created something, and we would like to bring that into town.
I think that the whole idea of the townhouse is to create community, a space where we can go downtown and have a cup of coffee and have an activity going on, or to meet our neighbors. And I like the question you had on here about walkability or more car friendly. I'd love to see more people walking downtown. And because we have nowhere to go, or there are places we feel there are only a few stores, we don't see as much of that. And I think that would be so great if each of those buildings was filled with a business that we wanted to look at, or at least have as part of our walk, even as we go into our parks and everything along the way. We know that there's a center where we come together. And I guess when Marilyn wrote her book years ago about the center of everything, we'd like to get that feeling again. This is an old New England town where you can meet your friends downtown. And the creative commerce idea ties in with the arts commerce that we would be able to do in the townhouse. We
But
could have an arts co-ops or so forth. Go ahead, Maureen. You're back.
But also, I shut off for a while. But also, I think we have the townhouse. But when I think of creative economy, I think of more than just the townhouse too. I think
Definitely.
of a lot of those empty storefronts. So I think we have to think more. We have to expand it and kind of think about the whole downtown and being a creative economy theme mindset. And the townhouse being the focal point, but we want the other areas to kind of embrace that same philosophy of bringing people together, creativity, different things that are going to stay around for a while, things that are going to shut their doors after 2 months when it doesn't take off. Usually with the creative economy, it tends to last longer because it's embedded in a belief and in a philosophy. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Sheila, there has been a little discussion on the chat box about asking questions about parking and traffic flow. As part of DDC, have you been looking closely at that and trying to figure out where and how we would handle that?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for bringing that up. Absolutely. That's something that's a target on the North Brookfield Downtown Development Committee. So we know that when people come to our downtown area, there's only a certain amount of parking spots down there. So with regards to two things that we find, or I should say, I find that are most important with our parking is that if we have events that are at the townhouse, people just can't park on the street. They're not going to be enough spots. So one thing that we'd need to do is make sure that there was valet parking or parking that's not too far away. One of the spots that we've been looking at is to the right of the police station. There's a lot right across the street from the pizza place. And we've been looking really hard at that and how we might turn that into possibly a parking area so that people could either get valeted over there or park there, and they're only a block away from the downtown area, so that people who are, able-bodied and able to, take that half a block walk down into the North Brookfield downtown area that they could. I know just recently too, maybe I shouldn't say recently, everything feels recently since COVID, but probably about 2.5 years ago, I know Danny Roman made a bunch of new parking spots in the common area as well. And he actually has some really great plans for creating a lot more parking down in that area as well, which is still only a block away from the downtown area. We're also just this past week, when I was working with the Complete Streets engineers, talked to them about maybe relining some spots behind some of the buildings in the North Brookfield area. So like the Adams block, that's where the Angel Nails is and where the old bank used to be at that corner. They have a huge parking lot back behind them too, as well as the Congregational Church has a good sized parking lot as well. So there might not be a lot of people that can park right on the Main Street area, but we're limited. There's not much that we can do there. One thing that I am really excited about that's not really parking, but we're looking into the possibility that I think we're going to be able to put a sidewalk in on the opposite side of the library where the church is next to the wall, and to be able to connect that so that people don't have to cross the street back and forth. And that especially we see a lot of seniors from the senior housing up on Mount Pleasant. They like to take a walk all the way around the common. They like to walk down to Hannaford and the library. And just to be able to make their route a little bit safer is just makes us feel better. Especially, we are getting a new gas station in town. So we expect that there might be more traffic in town. So we would like to make it a lot more safe for our residents to be able to stay on one side of the street and not have to cross back and forth, or for cars to be able to see them with some bump outs so that it's not as dangerous for people to cross the street as well. So great question. I hope that helped out a little bit.
Hey Sheila, it's Bruce. I was just
Hi,
curious, does the town own the property surrounding the police station?
Does the town own the property surrounding the police station?
Yeah, like that.
I hate to tell
lot-
you, I don't know everything about North Brookfield, but I don't know
Oh.
everything about North
Okay, yeah,
Brookfield.
I was just curious. I mean, because, realistically, in back of the police station, that is to the north of the police station,
Yes.
to the east of the police station, you got that vacant land.
Mhm.
That could be used for parking, but again, it depends on who owns it and
So
what the intent is.
now that we're talking about that, I want to say, yes, the town does own it because it's actually called a brownfield. We had to cover it because there was asbestos there, and there's a certain amount of years that we need to keep it covered. So we can't go down, but we can go across. So putting a parking lot in that area would be great as well. I know something that they had been talking about was putting a new fire station over there. I'm not too sure where they're at in the development of any of that. But again, a new fire department would have to be across the top. So I don't even know how that would work because they couldn't put any kind of like sewer or water from what I know. I mean, I'm not the expert on this at all, that they can't put anything under the ground. So one of the other things that we've been talking about too was maybe putting some residential buildings over there, but we can't go down under. So parking lot, a lot of that, and even putting in maybe some spaces for people to be able to have like little benches to work out or something like that. We also, I don't know if you can see my cursor on here, but Brandon Avery, he's phenomenal. He brought up that there is a path that runs like back behind here. I think you can see the line right here, that there's actually a path that runs from here all the way through the back of where the old school is, which is now a town, the town housing, that takes you right to the park. That actually could be turned back into a trail. And I believe the town owns a bunch of the greenery back here too, that they could put some kind of a park area in there as well. So we've been working really hard with everybody to just see what's available and what can we make better here in North Brookfield. So
Yeah,
great question, Bruce.
I think that property would be really valuable for parking, because you can't,
I agree.
obviously, you can't break the soil, you can't break the cap
Yep.
for a certain amount of years. What better way to deal with it than make a great parking space out of it?
Yeah, and you can see right there, there's a lot of area back there.
The town does own that property.
Yeah.
It does, and I heard that there's some discussion going on about not putting the fire station behind the police station.
Okay.
But instead putting it where the highway department is.
That would be awesome.
and the highway department moving down by Huck's,
That
Yay.
would be totally awesome.
which would free up that space for sure to be
Well,
used
that
for
sounds like,
parking.
I think that would clean up that space a lot for sure too. I love the highway department, don't get me wrong. Jason and I have been working really closely together with Complete Street stuff, but you know, to have your highway materials and stuff in your downtown area
Yeah.
is not really aesthetically pleasing, but it would be nice to have that down in that area. So I guess we just have to kind of wait and see how that all kind of pans out.
It's very preliminary, but they are talking.
That's
good.
great.
good.
And
But
for
that's a
events-
great observation, Bruce. I appreciate that.
And for events, we talked about the valet situation of perhaps having Vibram and Hannaford and other places allow valet parking there at a certain section of their parking lot. And what that would do is that would employ a couple of people running around, moving the cars and going
Yep.
and getting them, and somebody with the tag number and all of that. So that's a real viable thing. And I recall us talking about it, and I say, great. Then you thank Hannaford and you thank Vibram in one of the playbills or programs or something for one of the events,
I love
Giving-
that.
giving them kudos.
Sounds
So
great.
that's a possibility too, I would hope.
So Brandon has just piped up and said that parking is planned for next to the police station across from the pizza parlor.
Great.
And the fire station is going to be on the May town warrant. So we'll see how that develops at the town meeting.
Okay, that's going to be interesting.
Good.
I love town meetings. If you get a chance to go to a town meeting. They can get very fun. So with regards to that, it sounds to me like if we were going to put this in, that walkability sounds like it's pretty important to the people who are here on this forum tonight for the downtown area, but that car friendly would be more of a, how can we make sure that we have more parking spots for cars rather than, traffic kind of flowing in and out and a lot of parking on the main street, but just make sure we've got some good parking spaces. So with regards to the town hall and any programming ideas, does anybody want to pipe in on that? I'm going to give us another like 15, 20 minutes here to be chit chatting so that we can hit that 8 o'clock mark. And then if we're still going after that, anybody who wants to jump, they can, but this is really great. And I'm glad to hear from everybody. I can start with a programming idea. So one of the things that I thought that would be really cool would be, and to help incorporate businesses and stuff, would be for people who are coming into town, that maybe we have a giant event that's like a sidewalk chalk art event where everybody gets a piece of the street. We shut down the main street for a whole afternoon on like a Saturday or something like that. And you can create your art in your spot on the street and have a little bit of friendly competition, as well as open it up so people are in the downtown area, they're walking around and just kind of enjoying what's there. They get to play with some chalk, make some art. That's one of my programming ideas that I have. So anybody else want to chime in there or put something in the chat box for us?
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, I think encouraging arts in general as programming is a really good idea. But one of the things I wanted to get in was the idea of the importance of regulating or, paying attention to what retail type businesses go into, I'm assuming the ground level of the town hall. Those are prime pieces of real estate. And essentially, I really do believe that if you're going to make an art community or have an art spin to the townhouse, those buildings or those offices should be used for something that deals with the arts and plan, assure that whoever takes the leases or does the rentals there on the property are going to be long-term tenants. So I think it's a good idea to do some kind of planning on the figuring out who goes in and what types of businesses you do want. The idea of cafes, a restaurant, I mean, those are perfect things. They go hand in hand with entertainment.
Yes.
Anybody else got any ideas out there?
I
I
think
was going to, I was going to say about the arts, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that I think we are trying to be what Bruce is explaining here. When Bonnie's talking, it's the idea that it's an arts motivated business that should be in the townhouse. So yeah, Bruce, I think that that's on the docket as we're thinking through programming. That's it. Go ahead. Do you want to say
Yeah,
something?
actually, I did have something I wanted to say about an earlier topic and the parking lots. I was pleased to see the downtown when you were showing the downtown overlay, the placing of trees in sidewalks, and I think the trees make such a huge difference on the appearance of a downtown area. And one thing about it is a parking lot can be a pretty ugly sight unless it can, but it can also be like in that brownfield area, you could have some built up above the ground islands, like where you could put trees and shrubs and stuff. And so you could have a parking lot that serves a purpose for parking, but also has some aesthetics to it. So it's not just a big piece of asphalt, that, you know, heat sink. But also I think, and talking about vegetation, earlier I saw a presentation by someone at the library that talked about native plants and species and how important it is to introduce a lot of the native plants. And I thought in terms this would, you know, for example, now we have a little park in the downtown area. Eventually, maybe perhaps that could be an educational thing too, where you have you focus on the native plants and shrubs of New England and have like little plaques and stuff saying what their benefit is, pollinators and other things like that. But I think the trees, trying to get more trees into this downtown area, and also if any parking area you have, I think would make a big difference in the ultimate appearance of the area. I know the town of Ware, and they had to do all their plumbing and stuff in the streets, and they cut down all their trees, and what a huge difference that made in appearance. I know they're planting new trees, but it takes a long time. So I guess you want to make sure that the plumbing, the streets, the sewers and the stuff, that if you're going to be doing that, you want to do it before you put the trees and sidewalks in, I guess.
I was just, while you were on this topic, has the committee discussed underground wiring of the utility lines? If not, if they can't do that, I do know of communities that have undergone Main Street restorations and revitalizations, and they've put the poles behind the buildings. They've moved the poles behind the buildings. Have they talked about underground wiring in that area?
I know we haven't yet, Maureen, but I know that they've been upgrading all the poles, so I don't know feasibility in a financial way, how that might work out. I think I would love it if all poles were always either underground or behind buildings and not in the front of the down, you know, any Main Street areas. But I don't know feasibility wise if we can do that, but I think that's a great point. I'm going to make sure that we bring it up, and I'll talk to the engineers about that part too.
At least behind the buildings, and I can cite communities who have done that.
Yeah,
They've
I think that's a
literally
great idea.
Move the poles behind the structures.
Yep.
That's how they deferred the costs of underground.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for the input, Maureen. We'll definitely mark that down. Thank you.
I just wanted to say the discussion about parking lots looking ugly, it's very true. But we have to be very careful about doing plantings in those parking lots, because that's that space that we can't penetrate the cap. So we have to get very creative about how we do plantings, maybe just surface gardens or something.
Hydroponics.
Yeah, it just has to be above the ground. Maybe raised beds in certain places, as much as possible.
Yeah, the raised beds and maybe shrubs. In some cases, they have a shallower root system.
Yeah,
they could go in box in
I think we can't go down more than about 12 or 14 inches or something like that. It's
It'd have to be on top of
ridiculous.
it. You'd
Yeah.
have to raise a bed
Yeah.
on top of it.
Yeah.
14
And in
inches.
some cases, you can have these big, for trees, you could have a bucket-like structure that's above the ground too.
Yeah, big planter, yeah.
Yeah.
Could I bring up another topic?
Mhm.
I've been learning a bit about the water cycle lately and how important it is to keep the rainwater in the ground. It prevents droughts and nourishes the plants and the life in the soil, which then increases the local rainfall through transpiration of trees and plants that brings rain into a small water cycle that that prevents the rain from going into the stream and away to the ocean. The idea is to prevent drought, is to use the water over and over again in the small local area. And so I think that if we're going to be talking about redoing sewers and our roads, that some stormwater drainage into rain gardens
Yes.
would be really great, not only for the appearance, but for the for maintaining the proper water cycle that will help to prevent drought. And we know that drought is becoming more and more frequent with our climate change difficulties. So I think it's becoming clear that all of these things are interconnected. We kind of have to think about all of them at the same time and work toward all of them at the same time. So I think this is really good that we're getting all these things down. Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to bring up.
Ian, great point. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw an article recently out in the West where they're having so much fire damage, and how they've tried introducing beaver into the area just to slow the water flow going through areas, and they've had some amazing success with that. And I know that I fully appreciate your comment about the water cycle and trying to make our downtown more lush without wasting water. Right.
I can tell you guys, we have no lack of beavers in North Brookfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beavers get a really tough people it's a misunderstanding that beavers are not beneficial. They are tremendously beneficial to all of life, to carbon sequestration, to keeping the water in town so that our plants can use them and our farmers can use the water before it goes somewhere else. So yeah, beavers are our friends.
They certainly are. I wish we had more beavers on our property. We do have some, but I wanted to say that when I was at Tufts, I saw a speaker from Maine. He worked in the reservations area of northern Maine, where there are thousands of beaver and stuff, and he is maintaining the roads there. And he showed a very simple way of being able to prevent the culverts of the roads from being blocked, and very, very simple technology. So something like that people worry about. We have a culvert that gets occasionally blocked right down the road from us. His technique would be able to prevent that from happening and still allow the beaver to build their dams. And he had great success with that in the reservation lands.
Thank you guys very much. That is great. I'm going to skip over business for a minute because I want to kind of change the topic so that we can get on to something else that I think is very interesting, and I definitely want your opinion on this. So one of the things that I had been talking to a couple other members on different committees in town is marketing, and if there's any specific segment of our market that we want to target. And with that being said, what I mean specifically is when you think of North Brookfield globally, we want to think of, are we becoming more of a school central town? Are we becoming more of an over 55 community town? Do we want to focus on empty nesters? Do we want to focus on brand new parents coming into town? Residentially wise, do we want North Brookfield to have maybe more senior housing or more condo units in town so that we can kind of cluster residential into certain areas and not have just single families everywhere? With regard to that, if we can kind of figure out who is North Brookfield kind of targeting as a market, we can pull together the downtown area a little bit tighter as well, because that'll help us know, are we focusing on teaching empty nesters and over 55 new instruments because they want to learn that, or they want to learn singing? Are we targeting our programming and our businesses towards, kids doing pottery? Because to kind of keep it all over the place is a difficult way to market. You really want to target market an area that you think is going to be beneficial, that's not only going to bring in funding, but it's also going to bring in the type of community and market that we think North Brookfield might want to work on. Does anybody have any ideas about that? Just dropping bombs around here.
I could comment, and my comment would, I think, would be to a certain extent. I mean, obviously we can sort of try and control that, but to a certain extent, I think we're also going to be, we might not have a lot of control. And by that, I mean, if Worcester sort of keeps going at the pace that it's going, and if Metro West keeps going at the pace that it's going, we're going to be seeing in the next 10, 15, 20 years, I think, a lot of people who are here almost by default. And if we can sort of identify maybe what that market is, maybe that would be a way to move forward. I don't know. But at the same time, we do have the over 55 community here, and is great, and introducing more housing in that area could be really beneficial too.
Yeah,
that's a great point, Ethan. I'm curious to know what is the market then for west of us and east of us that we want to work on. I know Danny just raised her hand. Danny, you want to jump in?
Sure. Yeah, I would be curious to see how we get access to that data right now in town. In terms of, am I muted? No. Okay, good. How we get access to the data right now in terms of what the trend is already happening, because we're not going to be the only community. If we don't have exact data right now, we can't be the only community that's experienced this. So what historically in the Commonwealth, with all the resources that we have in these people, what historically has been the trend and what's worked for towns in our particular circumstance? If we don't have if we have data that can predict a trend, or if we can find out similar communities and see what has happened and what has worked and not worked already.
Great input, Danny. Thank you very much. I know CMRPC gives us quite a bit of data as to what's going on around the town. So maybe we can tap into them and get some info out of them too. I know that what we're doing in our downtown district area, CMRPC is actually kind of almost using us as a guinea pig to see how this works out, because we're one of the first communities in actually the New England area that's focusing as much as we are with such a tiny community. Like we know like Amherst does this kind of stuff, or, but there's no really tiny, small knit community that's doing this, that's revitalizing their town the way that we have been. So we might be the guinea pig of the data. I don't know, but we could definitely get some information from them for sure. Ethan's up.
I guess I would just follow up with saying, in terms of my opinion, I think that targeting younger families and then sort of early retirees would be sort of the way to go, because the younger market, I think, brings in income, and certainly the 55, 65, I think, sort of retains and sort of creates a community base. Especially if they're coming in, they're not most likely going anywhere. So just my thought.
Agree.
John Turner, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I think that Danny and Ethan both make a good point, and that is, it would be nice to know how our population is changing in the age ranges that we have and we're going to be growing in. It appears that our current population is what I would call relatively stagnant or stable. Call it either one you want. But I think as a town, as we go through revitalization, we need to make some choices of our own of where we want to be, who we want to appeal to both inside of town and outside of town. And we might change bylaws, where the way houses are built or neighborhoods are built to fit that. So I think there's a lot there to talk about, but it's something that we really should be talking about.
Sue, I see your hands up too.
One of the things that is not being addressed in all of this is diversity in North Brookfield. We're talking about seniors, we're talking about people from Worcester, from west and east and all of that. But if we're going to move in a direction that's inclusive of many people, I think that that's only going to be beneficial for the town of North Brookfield on some levels. I'm not saying that all of a sudden there's going to be a giant influx of everybody from everywhere, but I think that diversity is something that we should be cognizant of, so that we're not excluding people. So that's all.
I think that that's a great point, Sue. I'm glad that you brought that up as well. We did, I know Eva and I just got some demographics in from North Brookfield, and we are not very diverse.
Oh, no.
But I don't know that anybody's chosen it to be that way, but I think that we're a pretty inclusive town, and anybody who wants to come by, we're happy to have everybody. We're all Americans, so we're happy to be a big melting pot. At least that's what I learned when I was back listening to, Capitol Hill, and that's Bill back in the day on television. So.
What we have in North Brookfield is economic diversity.
That's true. That is true.
That's a great point.
Could you explain that, Anne, a little bit? You said economic diversity.
Well, we don't have racial diversity, for example.
But I just wanted, I don't see.
Yeah. Well, we just have a wide range of income. I think we are a environmental or an economic justice community, meaning that we need to pay attention to the fact that we have people who are struggling in our town.
I ask that because on grants, most of the time we write up that North Brookfield is low to middle income is where we fall more than, having people at the high end. We don't have many people at the high end. So I just wanted to know how you thought about economic diversity because of what we're writing up. I think that it's strange, but I met a fellow in a doctor's office, and he's a Black person who lives here in North Brookfield that I had no idea, where he lived. And I started to talk to him, and he said, "Well, I'm from North Brookfield." And I said, "Gosh, maybe there is more diversity than we know." Well, but the statistics don't say that. The statistics say we're 97 or 98% white. So when you're writing up these grants, but we're open, like Sheila said, to just about anyone who would come this way. I feel like we're a friendly community. That's one thing people remark about our community.
Yeah, maybe through the arts, we can reach a diversity of people of all kinds.
I think that that's very true. I think that kind of spans the intellect of everybody and spans, you know, economic, racial, all kinds of diverse areas. And, you know, a piece of chalk in anybody's hand is still just a piece of chalk until you start drawing with it. So I think that would definitely be a very inclusive way to bring people into town. So I just want to hit this, and I see we have chats and stuff, but we are hitting the 8 o'clock mark, and I just want to make sure that we stay focused on that. So we have hit just about our 90 minutes. I know we started a couple minutes late because we were waiting for people to pop on. So we will stay on for just a couple more minutes to make sure that we get all the comments and chats in that we want, and make sure we get a lot of, you know, get our information in that we want. I do want to let everybody know, let me pop this slide over. That's the new goals, is that if anybody wants to email after the fact, please take a screenshot here if you want, or take a photo with your phone, or write down. You're more than welcome to email us at northbrookfieldddc@gmail.com with regards to anything about the downtown area, whether it's the townhouse or streets or sewers or whatever. We'll get your information to the place it needs to get to. Or if you have any ideas about new goals or things that you want to just see changed or updated here in North Brookfield downtown area, please let us know. It is really important to us, and we work really hard to check mark all those things and get that done. We'll keep going for a couple more minutes if anybody else wants to keep chatting, but I do think Sue's hand might be back up.
No,
Or does not go down.
no, it didn't go down. Sorry.
That's okay. I just see a hand up.
Lower hand. Okay, there we go. I got it.
Thanks, Sue. So again, we're hitting that 8 o'clock mark. So anybody who wants to dump out, you're more than welcome to. Thank you so much for coming to our forum tonight. Before you go, make sure you know, only a couple weeks away, we got one more forum coming. So make sure that you keep your eye on your Facebook or your, you know, the town sign, the North Brookfield website for the last forum that we have for the master plan. We won't keep you going all the time. We're only doing 3. So we've got one more, and we're really excited to get your input on that. If we want to finish up the night with anybody else who wanted to make any other comments, the only other thing that I had on here was businesses.
I just had one question.
Sure.
How do you put your hand up? I don't see, I see these hands are going up on the screen.
If you go under the participants line on your bar,
Yes.
I believe you can click on yourself and you can put your hand up. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done it. Anybody else?
Hand.
Well, just put your hand up in the screen.
Okay, I guess, but
It says
Okay.
raise hand or lower hand at the bottom.
Oh, raise hand or lower
It
hand.
might be under
oh,
reactions.
is that it? No. Oh, well, I can't figure it out.
The participants box at the bottom of the list of participants.
Yeah, I have that. I have it up here, but I don't see anything about,
More, maybe more.
no, it's not there.
Danny said on hers, it's under reactions.
I have invite, but I don't have,
Mm,
or
Yes,
mute me.
reactions.
We don't have reaction on
No,
that.
no.
Okay,
Oh, reactions.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
raise
okay.
hand.
Found it.
Yeah, thank you. Found it. There it is.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh, wasn't it?
Yay!
Oh, I gotta put it down, the lower head. There we go. Thank you.
Start driving over.
There
You're
you
welcome.
go.
Lower head. There we go.
What you learn in North Brookfield, right? This is great. Oh, everybody's raising their hands now.
Sheila.
They're all checking it out. Other people are finding it. Good job, Dave. You got everybody figuring it out. So if you
Sheila.
want to tag along for a couple more minutes, the last thing I wanted to chit chat about, we did talk a little bit, was businesses. Do we want to limit them in the downtown area or load them up? So one thing that I'll mention, there was talk about adding another laundromat down in the downtown area. And for me, I guess the bylaws don't state that we don't have to do this, but there is already a laundromat down there. So that's something like, do we want to allow anybody to put just about anything that they want to in any one of those slots? Or do we want to get tighter with our bylaws? Or do we find that some of the bylaws in the downtown area, we don't want to get too strict because we want to be able to allow all different kind of businesses and different kind of things to happen down there? What are your thoughts on that?
Hey Sheila, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. I finally got my microphone working. Uh, yeah, as far as that goes, it may be kind of too late to, I mean, how do you really limit a private business like that going in an existing building? But I wanted to cover a couple other things if I could that I wasn't able to because of my microphone. I
Sure.
just want to mention that small park on the corner that we redid. There's
Yes.
electric there, lighting, and that'd be a great place for small performances, things like that. On parking, I think there's plenty of opportunities for parking. That spaces by the police station and behind Vibram
Mhm.
can be used for parking. And I think what we really should try to do is see if we can't swap some parking back there with Vibram for their lot that's right across from Algu's on Main Street. That'd be a
Yep.
great municipal parking lot. And I'm not a big fan of taking park space to make more parking. I know, Danny's got those plans with the common, but I'm not really thrilled about taking park space for parking. I think there's plenty of opportunities to create parking in the downtown area without doing that. And I think it'll be important to make sure everybody goes to the May town meeting because that fire station issue will be on the warrant. I was just at the selectmen's meeting Tuesday night, and that's going to be on the warrant. The warrant's going to be, I haven't seen it written, but they stated at the meeting it's to purchase Hucks and move the highway department there and create the fire department in the old highway department. So that will free up that space that's behind Vibram for parking that was originally going to be used for the fire station. So
Great.
I think there's plenty of parking if we look at it. Maybe I'll join you at one of your meetings, Sheila, and go over that more specifics. But I
That'd
just
be
wanted to
great.
get out before 8 o'clock here.
Thank you for the input, Brandon. That if anybody knows, that's Brandon Avery. I know sometimes his video's not working. Ethan, I think I see your hand is up.
I just actually had a question. This was in response to Brandon. I wasn't at that meeting. Do you know, well, two questions. One, do you know that the spot where the fire station was slated to be, is that also a brownfield? Or is that not?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yes.
And then the other
Yes.
question
Area.
is, do you know whether they plan to do any renovations at the highway, or have they not even gotten there in order to get fire?
Yes, it's supposed to, from what I was told at the meeting, if you want to watch the, the video of it, it's on, they put it on YouTube, but it was explained that it would be like a package that, to purchase Hucks, create the highway department down there right near where the salt sheds and everything is anyway. And then, convert the highway department for the fire department and renovate the current fire department into like the administration for the fire department. So they'd be keeping all those buildings.
Okay.
And then I think that'd be a great opportunity with the complete streets to kind of redo that street and maybe get some nice, landscaping around that highway department. So yes, please try to come to the May town meeting,
When is it?
May 4th,
May 7th.
I mean, May 7th, yeah.
7th, okay.
Thank you, Brandon. I just want to make sure we don't get too off topic, that we're just not talking about like fire department and stuff, but as a heads up, we do have that street over by the fire department, by Vibram, and going down to the police station to the rail trail is one of the streets that we have on our project list. For
Sheila,
complete streets.
excuse me,
Yeah.
Jim Metcalf, could I just make a couple of comments before we quit?
Absolutely, I would love that.
It seems like I've been on most of these committees, on that first master plan committee and the first downtown development committee. as well as the cleanup on the site on the other side of Vibram. As I understand it, you really should revisit the final disposition on that site. I think the site was buildable with the exception of a small section right up behind that school. Because we had that whole site earmarked for like a health services center. And, you know, before the police department started, you know, wanted to get into the site, but I'm comfortable that that site is buildable with the exception of a small space up the end, but I haven't seen the reports in years, so I'm not sure. And secondly, in the original master plan committee, you know, we had thought about social planning and diversity the same way you folks are, and it's really impossible. I mean, I know that's the trend today, you know, diversity every place, but it's based on feelings, not facts. The thing we found out was that Massachusetts is probably the most in-debt state in the country, and there's a mass exodus both of businesses as well as people. The people that can't exit are the people that can't afford to exit. A ton of single parents, seniors, they just can't get out of town, or they would if they could, because of the tax load and the reg load. And being on the school committee for a number of years, I seem to remember if you look at the demographics of the student population, like somebody mentioned, there's a heavy load of people in town that are in a lower socioeconomic thing. So, and I don't want to insult people here, but when you start talking about theater and the arts and so forth, keep talking about that stuff, but you got to make it accommodate the people that can't afford it, or have not grown up in that environment. And just a final thing, there's money in Chapter 90 funds for sidewalk renovation. It's just the town has never elected to do that because they've always, you know, instead of when you renovate a sidewalk, it's looking at something like 8 or 10 feet width, you know, for handicap and so forth. And no one's ever wanted to broach the people that live along the sidewalks and take land from them and stuff. So that's been a major issue. So I'm not sure that we need new money, but if we can get it, all the better. But the sidewalks are absolutely number one in this town. You can't walk downtown without spraining your ankle, and customers don't like to sprain their ankles trying to get dry cleaning done. And then the final thing was, I heard a couple of comments about not restricting business, but steering businesses in or steering businesses out. You have to let the customers do that. I worked on businesses down in Sturbridge. The Sturbridge government and regulatory people were absolutely nuts over the years. We had the worst time trying to get businesses in because they just wanted it their way. And it took us a long time to get businesses in. They're finally loosening up a bit, but you don't want to get into that kind of Amherst kind of mentality, you know, where it just gets crazy. So anyway, so that's my comments for the old.
Jim, that's some really, really good input. I'm really glad to get that from you. And I know you've been here a long time and you have been on a lot of committees. So I really appreciate your feedback a lot. I think the two biggest things that I got out of you, well, three. Number one, no sprained ankles when you walk into a store. And then obviously, I think that the idea that we have to be really careful with our economic diversity with regards to theater is very important. I think that that's something we definitely have to make sure that we focus on when we're working on programming, to make sure that we can incorporate programming that maybe we get grants in for, different families and age groups and stuff, so that we can make sure that we can have more people enjoying those different programmings that we might be having in the downtown area.
And, any of the towns that I've worked on along these same kind of lines, around the country and stuff, the big ticket tends to be if you can make the town a destination place.
Yep.
And I swear North Brookfield has the ideal destination place that meshes with the arts, and that's to make the town a George M. Cohan site.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about over the years everything from the schools on up, but if that townhouse contained a Cohan museum, and we could pull in some of the performances and so forth, the money comes with that. I mean, it's you don't have to fool around with grants. People pour money in to make it a mecca and stuff. So anyway, I've been pushing that over the years, but again, I'm going down in the fall to Eastern Kentucky and Eastern Tennessee rather. The whole Eastern Tennessee is built on Dolly Parton. That's the destination, and
that's true.
And North Brookfield has George M.
I think that's great, Jim. I really appreciate that. That's great feedback. And I know Marilyn has worked with the George M quite a bit too. So I'm sure that we can definitely get some good conversations going with that. So I appreciate that a lot. That's really great feedback. Anybody else want to chime in? I know there's been some stuff in the chats. I can't see it just because of the way I have my computer formatted. I don't know if anybody needs to jump in and let me know about any of that, or where we're at with that. Actually, we got Mike Doe jumping in right now, which is pretty amazing. Mike Doe is actually, he's on the Common Committee, so that's pretty awesome. Just again, checking in to see if anybody's got any last minute, anything. I can give us 12 more minutes, and then I gotta go get my jammies on for the evening. So. I can't be anything but honest, people. Let's see. I'm just trying to look through some of the people that are on here. So I see Fallon, Mike, and I hate to put you guys right on the spot, but I see you guys just jumped in. We only got a couple more minutes that we're going to be holding out here. Is that Mike Doe or Fallon? Which one of you guys jumped in, if you don't mind me knowing? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm curious.
It's both of us.
So how you guys doing? I'm glad to have you here. Mike, you're still on the Common Committee, right?
I am.
So we did bring that up a little bit tonight, and I don't know if you want to jump in and let us know maybe where you guys are in the Common, like where you guys are at in that whole process.
We actually just joined because I just got home, so I saw it and I said, "Oh, we need to join and watch it and be part of it."
Of course, Sheila calls you right out, right, Fallon? Thanks,
but
Sheila.
Mike does want to talk about playground.
I would love to hear about it.
All right, Sheila. My thought on the plan for the playground and the whole playground stuff is that we need to make it for the citizens of North Brookfield. Like, we don't need out of towners coming in and like make it a destination. We need it to benefit the citizens of North Brookfield and our kids and our families and stuff like that. And you are awesome at what you're doing. And we need to focus on getting those projects done so everyone can benefit from it.
I think that that's really great input too, Mike. Thank you very much. So from what I get from that is, it sounds like we kind of need a balance. We need a good balance
We
between
do.
making sure we've got some really great stuff in town for our citizens, but also making sure we've got that destination feature so that we get, you know, some people coming from out of town to bring us some fun so we don't have to spend all of our own in our own town. Have
Yeah.
them bring some in for us so we can keep everything running over here in North Brookfield as well.
Sheila,
Thank you guys.
Sheila, I do understand what you're talking about. We do need that too, also.
We need the out of towners to come in, but we have to work on our town to make it better for us while the others come after,
Mhm.
which will happen.
Yep. Yep, I agree with that too. I think that that's really great input. I appreciate you guys letting us know and jumping on. Thanks for letting me call you out
Hey,
for a
good night,
second
guys.
too. All right, I think we're wrapping up, guys. It's getting towards the 8:30 mark here, and I know I'm kind of getting tired. If we're good, that is great. Again, I'm just gonna throw my email up here one more time for anybody else who might have missed it. I should have left it up a little bit longer. But northbrookfieldddc@gmail.com. If you have any more input, you want to let us know anything you think, give us any ideas, toss us some great goal ideas. We would love to have them. I'm glad to have you guys all here. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you come back in a couple weeks for the other North Brookfield Forum, as well as going to our Maytown meeting. So get involved. It's fun.
Thank you, Sheila. You did a super job.
Don't
Thanks,
forget
guys.
to vote. Don't forget to vote. We have an election coming up.
Yep.
So get
Thank
in
you,
and vote.
Sheila. Thank you for a great
Thank
job.
you, Sheila.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sheila.
Sheila.
Great night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Hey Sheila,
Yep.
are you gonna make the slides available? I missed like the first half.
Yeah, I can send them to you. I'll email them to you right now before I shut it off.
That would be awesome. And actually, so
Okay.
just since you're here, I met with agency planning today.
Yep.
And if they would love to see those concept complete streets.
I'm gonna
drawings.
send them to you too, but if you can do me a favor and kind of just keep them on the download between you guys. We have a
Oh,
meeting
yeah.
to do with the Board of Selectmen that I haven't done yet. And I don't want to like let it all out of the bag. So if you can just give them to just them and explain that to them, that would be appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you want to
Okay.
hold off, do that. If you want to hold off, that's fine.
No, it's okay, because I know that you're sharing for like our grant purposes and stuff, so that's understandable, but if you can just explain that to them when you talk to them, our meeting isn't until April 27.
Okay,
Okay?
awesome. And I did give them the TAP stuff, and we'll see if there's anything they can come up with by tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know if there will be.
All right, well, we have I know me and Eva have a bunch of TAP stuff too that we can send your way if you need stuff too.
Awesome.
Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Ethan. Have a great night.
You too.
All right.